All right, I think I'm live. Figured since I saw a new update dropped, I might as well try it out. And since it's visually noisy on a level even above most bullet hell games, it's worth trying to see how if I can get it to compress and look decent. Um, so yeah, new update. There's like 8 new achievements or something, and some new weapon upgrades and so on. I didn't read the entire patch notes. I just saw that there was new weapons and other stuff to unlock, and yeah, I enjoy every time there's a new one to just go in and figure out what all's been added and unlock it as quick as possible. Because the game's fun, simple as, not too heady about it. Yeah, let's see what. And I had the volume on this down pretty low already because I tend to very often play this while I'm watching streams, so I can half pay attention over here and half pay attention to, or really it's more like I pay more attention to what I'm watching, because once you figure stuff out, there's a couple instances of when you have to pay attention here, but a lot of it's fairly idle and routine once you get used to it. Okay, so new character, Concetta or Concetta. I don't know. A lot of the names here are clearly like faux Italian. We'll call her Concetta now, even though that wouldn't be the Italian way, I guess. All right. Well, you know what? No. She's Concetta from now. So I got to figure her out, but I clearly have to unlock her, and nowadays the unlocks aren't just buying them on the screen, so I think I saw in the notes there was a new coffin in one of the maps, so I'll go there. What else am I missing? Find the magic banger. Unlocks music selection. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm not entirely sure where that'll be, but that might be something on one of the maps. Thankfully, unlocking the map itself means that I'll have indicators. Okay, find and open the coffin on the Gallo Tower. Okay. So we'll be playing Gallo Tower first. 80 entries in the collection. Yeah, I think that'll just be another thing that happens over the routine of playing a normal. Minute 31 in the inlaid library. Ooh. And that unlocks a randomazzo thing. That Disco of Gold. I mean, it sounds like it'll probably be based on wealth, which is not a huge deal here. Because as you can see, I have 131,000 gold. No shortage of that there. Okay, level 99 with Concetta. So the Gatiamari, that's the character, or that's the weapon that comes with one of the relatively excuse me, one of the relatively new characters. I can't remember the exact name, but it's not the best or worst weapon in my experience. It's fine. So we'll see what the evolution does. The evolution might be incredible. Evolve the Shadow Pinion. So the Shadow Pinion's a new weapon, I think, that has an evolution. Let's see. Any power-ups that I can get now? Nope. I'm actually going to turn the volume up here slightly because it is super quiet for me. And I'll turn the music up just ever so much. Okay. No new characters to buy here. So I wanted us to get to level 99 with the new character that we don't have yet. Okay, Giovanna. Giovanna has the Gatiamari, so we'll go with her. Projectile speed every level is pretty nice, and I think I'm definitely going to try to go for Rune Tracer with that, because Rune Tracer with additional speed is really nice. Really, the only disadvantage with additional speed is the weapon that is directly upgraded by the bracer, which is the passive item that gives you projectile speed. But the weapon it upgrades is the knife, which is not one of the best or most useful, in my opinion. It can be fine, especially if you're trying to, I guess, focus down bosses, but you know, it's never going to be like one of your top damage doers. All right. We want to do Gallo Tower. I'm going to leave it on hyper mode with Arcanas. So yeah, let's get started. Okay. So I really actually like this one. The 3 revivals and consuming them gives you benefits, which I haven't actually looked at it, but I think other revivals you use also give you... Yeah, of course they do. Other revivals that you use, like the ones you get from the power-up store, or getting the actual Tirigisu item, give you this benefit too, and so it's kind of a free power-up if you're okay blowing your revivals. And I've actually had games where, you know, you get powerful enough that you can't suicide in the crowds quick enough, which indicates that you're powerful enough that doesn't really, that, you know, additional might and duration don't matter. So, what do I want? I think my general favorite is probably this one where healing is doubled. It's made me really like, especially the whip more, because the upgraded whip gives you healing, and then when you heal, it damages the enemies around you, and it's just, you know, it works out nicely for everyone all around. On top of this doubling the healing. So I'll pick that as my first. Alright. The trouble with starting out with Giovanna is, on its own, the cat is not that easy to deal with. Okay, I think... Yeah. Projectile speed is also really nice with the guns. Let's do... I'll go with the Bible because that makes for good consistency and it benefits from projectile speed. Rune Tracer I did one, but I'll go with the Trapdoor because early on it's such a benefit. Oh yeah, let's see, where... Okay, the question mark up above, I assume that's the coffin. And so I'll go down and get the... Try to upgrade the guns first. I'll go down and get the Spellbinder first once I fill up the rest of my passive items. I'll try to get down there quickly before I am leaving much experience behind. Part of the trouble with trying to rush places times... Okay. Yeah, we wanted to go with Rune Tracer. So I need to remember to not use up the slot for... get the cat upgraded. I actually kind of... I need to figure out what passive item upgrades the cat. I didn't look it up, and I'd like to figure it out on my own. And so far they haven't done anything where a passive item upgrades... Or a passive item leads to 2 different upgrades. I almost said where a passive item doesn't upgrade 2 weapons. So let's... So I need to keep 1 weapon slot for the other guns. And so I need to pick if I want Magic Wand, which I would get Empty Tome for, so Fire Rate, or Fire Wand, which would give us the explosive projectile. Fire Wand upgrades on Spinach which is damage, which is really useful later, obviously. I think I'm going to re-roll and see if I can get Fire Wand or Spinach Base. Actually, yeah, armor I'll take. It's interesting the competing objectives you have, so let's just go with Spinach and commit to that. The competing objectives you have sometimes, now that almost every weapon has an evolution, and every... see, I don't want to grab the Spellbinder because there's one on the map that I can get once I fill up the rest of my slots. So, when the game first launched, there was... Well, when I first started playing, I believe there were evolutions, or maybe they were introduced shortly thereafter. Ooh. Probably won't be able to get Duplicator this time around. If I look at it, I'm going to need Tiragisu for the guns. I'm going to need something for the cat. But I have a freed up slot for the Bible because I can get the Spellbinder afterwards. Screw it. I'm going to go with the Duplicator. But, you know, early on, when I started consistently winning rounds, I found that it was really handy to just pick your weapons and focus on getting the maximum amount of offensive output quickly, and then all the passives you would do later. They'd sort of, you know, they'd shore up everything in the end. All right, now we'll go with Fire Wand, because now I need to remember to not get excited when I see another weapon in the another weapon come through and it'll level up. Yeah, these cats don't fuck around. Alright, level up the cats. I don't know if you were here quite yet, but one of my objectives now is to actually basically max out the level of the cat weapon, and then there is now an upgrade to it, where if you have a specific item combination, you can get a, you know, an extra powerful version. Honestly, at this point, the leveling and weapon selection, and I guess it's kind of been this way most of the time, the leveling and weapon selection is a much more involved piece of the game than the actual gameplay, which really is, since it's auto attacker. All I'm doing is moving. I have one hand on the keyboard. Yeah, so this highlighted guy's a boss here, and what did he drop? An extra level of the Bible. That's nice. I really like that when you upgrade the Bible item, it gives you, it'll fire off the new upgraded version without canceling out the projectiles from your past version. Okay, so we get that because it allows you to upgrade the guns. I just need the other gun. And what other... Now I gotta start thinking about what passive item upgrades the cat. So the candelabra door is a passive item, but it, I know, upgrades the axe, so that's not it. Tiragisu upgrades the guns, so that's not it. I'll go ahead and max out the level here. You know, and there's some of the more recent weapon evolutions they added that don't actually rely on a specific passive item, or just rely on a specific passive item. So to get the upgraded guns, you have to have both gun weapons maxed out, and you have to have the Tiragisu item. There's also, you'll notice in the weapon selection, the Pichon, I believe, and the what's the name of the other one? It's a black version of the pigeon, but when you have both of those upgraded, there's no passive item required. They can combine to give you the best. So, yeah, you can see here, because I have one of the items in the evolution pair, and because I guess I have done the evolution before, I know that the Santa Water weapon is upgraded by the Attract Orb. But I don't want that now because I need to save that weapon slot. So I'm just going to select another duplicator because that's useful for all purposes. Okay. My gun's actually fairly low level. I'm not sure how it decides what items to give you, if it truly is purely random, or if it will sometimes see, like, hey, you picked the pistols. Now we're only going to give you the one until you get it fully upgraded. Oh, well, nope. So now I have both pistol weapons. Just need to take a guess at what the upgraded... What weapon is going to, or what item is going to upgrade the cat? And I have no clue right now. Alright, what did he drop me? More pistols. Let's get these upgraded. So, you can only get weapon evolutions past level 10. So, I also know this Pomerola passive item is not going to upgrade the cats because it upgrades the garlic. So I'll just go with the extra Attract Orb, because that'll help me level up faster. Even when I'm going for a run that I want to be like pure offense, it was all items that I already unlocked that I could level up, so there's no real... The stress of selection there is not as big of a deal. Okay. So, again, to evolve your weapons, you have to be at level... You have to have the weapon at level 8, or for the pistols, you have to have both pistols at level 8. You can see in the top right, there's the dots that sort of indicate how many are lit up, and right now I only have the cat at level 8. Everything else is actually pretty low. And only when they are level 8 will you be able to get the evolution, which comes from killing bosses, which are just highlighted enemies that show up every, minute or two. So yeah, you see we're at 552. Once it hits 6, some, buff boss guy will show up, and he'll drop a chest when he dies. And when you meet the criteria, that chest can include the weapon evolution. So anyway, in general, upgrading weapons is going to make you better off, all things being equal, than a passive item upgrade. Attract Orb is just really good. And I'm also not really hurting for doing damage right now. I'm in a pretty good place with my offensive power. Well, I am taking a little bit of damage. Like, if I was getting constantly mobbed, and it gave me the opportunity to do more damage or upgrade my armor, which essentially is just a damage threshold, I might choose to upgrade the armor in that case if I was really worried about dying. So I actually am starting to get a little pressed here. Not too badly. So I actually will say in these cases, since it's since I'm getting crowded and there's a lot of enemies on screen, the boost of passing through more enemies is, I think, more valuable than just more projectiles, because more hits per projectile, essentially. Alright. So I don't think I need to be too worried right now. Still no clue what upgrades the cat. I might actually wait until minute 10 for it to give me the first opportunity to weapon upgrade, because if it only requires me to have the cat fully upgraded, then I could get it now. But that would be sort of a first time. Yeah, so at 8 minutes, Skull Guy showed up, as well as these lanterns that are shooting at me. It all makes very clear sense. So, armor upgrades my Rune Tracer, which, you know, Rune Tracer's only level 2, so that's not going to happen too soon. Hollow Heart would upgrade the whip, and Empty Tome upgrades the magic wand, which I don't have. I might get it later, but I really want to figure out the cat. So I think I'm just gonna stick with upgrading the pistols. Looks like I'm actually staying at 60 frames per second. I'm gonna have to check and see if the video's super grainy afterwards. Okay. I'll just keep upgrading the weapons. Alright, so yes, you see the Skull Guy dropped a chest. Because it's not up to 10 minutes yet, it's not going to contain weapon evolution. It can't. So I will just see what he has to offer me. More Rune Tracer. That's nice. Sometimes, based on luck, you can get a... Based on luck, you can actually get multiple items, so the chest will give you 3 items instead of 1, or if you're really lucky, 5. And there's also an item, a passive item you can get that increases your luck, which affects that, among other things. So, stick with upgrading weapons. Oh yeah, so the fact that everyone just sort of died in a huge cluster there, I picked up a healing item, the floor chicken. You know, one of many shamelessly lifted Castlevania references in this game. And because of the sort of card that I selected at the start of this run, anytime I heal, it damages the enemies around me for the same amount, which is really nice. Okay, wings. Wings might be it, because I don't know of anything that is upgraded by wings. And the bracer is not it, because that upgrades the knife, and I can pick up one of those passively anyway once I start moving back up. I'm going to select wings. I'm going to commit to it, because that also means all of my slots are full. Now, anytime I level up, it'll never give me new items, because I don't have any more slots to put them in. But if I pick up this guy here, because it doesn't have a slot to put it in, you see in the top right, I now have a third row for essentially extra passive items. It's a way to get more items than you have slots for, which is really handy. Okay, now I gotta start moving up. Okay, I'm taking a bit of damage here. Alright, let's get that armor up, because I'm actually hurting some. Here's the 10-minute boss. This sort of gold harpy looking... I guess she's a harpy. Oh, yep. That's what dropped the chest here. So you see, this time I got 3. And let's hope a weapon evolution is among them. Nope. So I think wings was probably the wrong choice here. But we learn. You can also see now, because I'm now level 43, my projectiles are pretty fast, and they're only going to get slightly faster every level. And that includes, like, the Bibles essentially orbiting me. So, if I look at the map, I've still got a ways to go back up to get to the bracer and then the coffin. Alright. So now we have Bible at level 8, which means the next time... If I look at my weapons now, Bible is the only one fully at level 8. The pistols, one of them is 8, but one of them is 7, and so now the Bible at 8. Basically, it's the next one that is queued up to be upgraded. So the next chest I get will have, I believe it's called Unholy Vespers, which is a just better version of the Bible weapon. And his bat should drop it, actually, the blue highlighted guy. Nope. So this is the one thing that can take precedence over that sort of upgrade. So let's see, what does he offer me? Heart of Fire. That might be useful. Character explodes when damaged is definitely useful. And I do have the Flame Wand. Bounces are also pretty useful. Critical hit, that's useful, but I also don't have any of these weapons, and so that would be a waste for me. Let's do this. Let's do this. And so that means if I'm running through a crowd, I would just constantly be exploding with all contact with enemies. Okay, so that item I just picked up, that passive item, is the... It's got the same icon as the attract orb. The movement speed will be nice for now anyway, because I'm trying to make some distance up. It's got the same... You know, it looks the same as the attract orb, and it does similar where it increases my pickup radius, but it basically just means, you know, one time every item on screen is attracted to you. Alright, so let's beat up this outlined guy and get his chest. Okay. Yeah, it upgrades the Mormon Bible. Oh. Some bosses, when you kill them, only drop a red gem, which is, it gives you more experience than the blue gems that you mostly see on screen. Let's keep upgrading Rune Tracer since that's a weapon. I at least know that the guns, the Bible, the Rune Tracer, and the Flame Wand, I have what's necessary to upgrade them. And so, as the game has grown and as they've updated it, and as weapon evolutions have been added, it's become more and more necessary to select your upgrade items so that you actually get upgraded weapons at the end. So let's get that damage up. I'm taking a little bit of damage myself. If I can just clear out enemies a little faster, it'll help. All right. So now Fire Wand also has everything required to upgrade. So, okay, this guy, he's not highlighted, but I know he's a boss. He's a slightly larger version of an enemy that shows up in waves. And you see he gets a chest, which this skull is actually the upgraded Fire Wand. If you look at the top right, now you can see the Fire Wand on the second from the right, top left. It's second from the right on the weapons row at the top. It's going to change into the skull, which is basically just a much better version of the same thing. And so you see now these fireballs I'm shooting out are a lot more powerful than the Fire Wand ever was. But yeah, as the end game has become more developed... Okay, yeah, picked up the bracer. I didn't realize I was up here already. Okay, we gotta go up to that question mark. We're taking a little bit of damage. We have some revivals. But let's try to kill enemies fast enough that we don't have to worry about it. Oops. I did not mean, so that little red plate in the middle. Yeah, I got it. But I have the revival, so it's not a big deal. Alright. Let's get another revival to be safe. Upgrade the attract orb. Armor. Try to increase our survivability. Alright, now I'm doing good damage here. I'll go ahead and upgrade Spellbinder, might as well. Make my effects last longer. At this point, it's not as big of a deal. If I'm really trying to get a weapon maxed out, but as you can see on the top, all my weapons are already maxed out, it's not as big of a concern. It's sort of a matter of routine. Okay, so this will probably have the upgraded version of my Bible. No, it had an upgraded Rune Tracer. Interesting. So 2 levels of Bracer, so I increase my projectile speed even more. And the, what is it called? Let's see. They're not going to name it again? I don't remember the name of the upgraded Rune Tracer, but basically it just means that every time the Rune Tracer bounces, there's an explosion. And the splash damage is nice when enemies are so crowded on screen because it just means even a small amount of damage is done to a lot of guys. Just all about pumping up that DPS. And Spellbinder weapon duration is nice here because it means that these guys zipping around the screen and exploding last longer. I still shoot them at the same rate, and so that just means there's more of them on screen doing more damage. A lot of the upgrades really synergize well with one another here. And I hear them, but I have no idea if how much work my cats are doing. Okay. It's clearly visually noisy at this point. My computer says it's actually sticking to 60 frames per second. I upped my bitrate to around 20K, which OBS gives it some wiggle room around there. Oh! I clearly stepped on a trap there. You're doing work, though. Yeah, once you basically have everything upgraded and it can't give you anything new, whenever you level up, it'll give you either the option of a big coin bag, which is currency for spending in the shop. Okay, it says I need to go to the right, the little map indicator, in order to access the coffin. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So yeah, these are the base descriptors, to be clear, because, so if you look at my top right now, you'll see I have 2,093 coins. When I select the big coin bag, it'll definitely give me more than 25. So I will have more than 2,118 coins. The floor chicken upgrade, it says restores 30, but because of some of the buffs I have, it would actually restore 60 health. So yeah, 2160, that gave me a lot more. What I need to do, I need to get over. Don't know how. Curious. There's also a chest on screen here. Okay, so this is upgraded guns. This is interesting because when the guns combine, the two of them are taken away and you get the upgraded version. And so that actually frees up a weapon slot for me to get another weapon. And I will pick a weapon now that is upgraded by something I have. And as you can see, the lightning ring is upgraded by the duplicator, which I have among my passives. And so I got an item that froze everyone in time. Nice. If I could then... Maybe I just need to go higher up. I'm going to keep my eye on the right side of the screen to see if there's any way I can bust out of here. And kill the boss that I didn't even see. Finally, the upgraded Bible. Yeah, the Unholy Vespers. And so you see the old Bible are going to disappear, and the new one comes in. Definitely good guy shit going on here. Alright, I'm not seeing anything on the side of the screen that indicates how I would get off to the side, so maybe this isn't really like a game where spoilers matter, so I might look up how I do that. Oops. I stepped on one of the traps there. It's all very clear and makes a whole lot of sense, I'm sure. So it's interesting, it shows enemies out there, but I don't know how to get to them. I wonder if there's a clever, silly way to get out there. Or if it actually is supposed to be that far out. It could entirely be a glitch that the coffin is out there. But I think it's probably not. Alright, let's beat this guy up. Yeah, keep on the edge of the Bible so that they're actually hitting him frequently. He's pretty tanky. Cats took him out, though. What did he have to give us? More lightning ring. Oh, if I had thought about it, I could have saved that until I leveled up and already had lightning ring at 8, and it would have given me the upgrade. You'll never get... Well, I don't know about never. In general, you will not get a weapon upgrade from a... Or you'll not get a weapon evolution from leveling up. Alright, I'm just going to heal to be safe. Okay, yeah, now the waves have changed at the 19-minute mark, and these guys, they might be more numerous, but they are not as tanky, and so I can just absolutely shred them. I'm at a pretty good rate of kills. If you see a little to the left of the money in the top right, it's a number just about 50,000 with a skull. That's how many people I've killed this time around. The game ends basically at 30 minutes. You can kind of extend a little beyond, but really winning is getting to 30 minutes. And you won't get a lot of kills after 30, even if you survive. If you can get any kills. And so, kills before 30 minutes are, you know, how you max that number out. And in my best runs, I've had maybe 116, it was somewhere north of 110,000 kills, but you kind of have to optimize for that. And also different maps can make it easier or harder to kill larger numbers of enemies. Based on the waves that spawn and just the way the maps are. So like my bouncing weapon, if I stand here, I'll get more bouncing near me, which means that the enemies really close to me take more damage and die faster. And so, whereas there's some of the maps that are completely or mostly wide open. Don't remember all of the things we had to unlock, but see, this is a boss and I pushed him off the edge because I have enough damage output and knockback. Oh, it's interesting that it pushed the chest back towards me. So let's... What it gave me? Okay, this is the upgraded lightning. And it just means... You know, with as much visual noise as there is, I had forgotten about the lightning. You know, you can hear it, obviously. I have an idea now to get to the chest, possibly. Okay, so it's over here. Maybe there's some trigger. Any of the traps over here are going to do anything for me? Or one of the circles. You know, I'm thinking now maybe there's something on the floor that I used to teleport over. You can never fully predict. Okay, it's lagging. Is the frame rate dropping, or is it just like displaying poorly? Actually, it might be the game itself. I kind of don't think about it too much anymore. The game itself will sometimes get a little chuggy near the end. So bounces can be nice, especially, I mean, it'll only benefit for me the fire wand skull. But the rest of these also... Okay, so the if the stream itself is stuttering, it says I haven't dropped any frames. So I will check on YouTube and see what it looks like for me now. I can probably close some things if I really need to. Looks like for me now. Okay, I have the stream up on my other monitor. I'm going to play around a little bit and see what it looks like for me if I drop frames. Okay. Oh, I had Alt-tabbed out, and so of course my... So I'm going to pick the bounces, because that'll bounce the fire wand. Yeah. And especially as fast as they are, that just means they're zipping across the screen. Okay. Yeah, I can see the visuals getting a little grainy. Not terrible. It's understandable given how chaotic the screen is here. I'm going to turn the screen off, or turn the stream off that I'm watching, and get back to it. I'm close to the end of this run, so I'll evaluate a little after. I say close, but close-ish. Actually, it's not as bad now. They've done some performance enhancements. It used to be, if I had this much going on screen, it would if I had this much going on screen, it would just be super slow and have problems. Stuttering. And that's without any sort of streaming. Let's get a heal on that. So it might be a connection problem on your end. I'm not sure. I'm sure that me streaming at a higher bit rate uses more bandwidth to watch the stream, is my guess. If you look at it in 720p or something and it's still having issues, it's probably something I need to work out here. Okay. So you see there I got the 3, but because I have everything fully upgraded, it only gave me money. Oh, the mirror. There we go. All right, we unlocked a new character. Yeah, this is a classic, it's not just Castlevania reference in this game. I'm pretty sure when they first started out, this just used like is that a guitar? Gotta avoid those. Okay, how do I... Can I get out of here? Yeah. Okay, so I've upgraded or unlocked the new character at least. Okay, this guy you can tell is bigger than the other dragons, and so you know he's a boss. Alright. Ooh boy, money. And at this point, it's basically procedural to get to the end. I will get slightly more powerful each level because it increases my projectile speed. And I believe I can get another card buff, basically. I actually have one question about all of them. So let's look now. My might is plus 75%. Area is plus 10. So 75 and 10. If I get the card that gives you might, area, and other benefits for each revival you use, and I've already used at least one revival, I wonder if this will... I wonder if it retroactively counts revivals you've used, is essentially what I'm curious about. Or if it basically says anytime you die and revive from here on out, you get a boost. Anytime you die and revive from before, tough shit. I'm glad I figured out the mirror because I don't know that I'm getting any other achievement unlocks from this run. I wish I had figured out the cat. So it's not wings. I know that. I'm trying to think of other passive items that don't have associated weapon upgrades yet. Nope. Giant enemy crab. This is based on real Japanese history. Ooh. This is the real crab game. Maybe that's something we can organize. Crab game is I can't even remember if you watch Squid Game, man. But Crab Game is like a silly indie game based on that same sort of concept, roughly, of a death game. Heal up to take some damage. My kills have gone up nicely. I'm now at 70-something. I don't think I'm going to get the 100,000 kills this time around. But anyway, Crab Game is low pressure fun. It's kind of like a scuffed slapstick, well, even more slapstick Fall Guys. For all of the things it does right, Fall Guys just often can be not very fun. Okay. These guys are a lot tankier than the last waves, so let's heal up. But anyway, partly because of the silly nature of it. Crab game is fun even if it's, you know, completely shit. Or even if you are shit at it. I won't say the game is. It's goofy. It's not garbage or anything. It's just silly. It does exactly what it sets out to do. Okay. Big lion boss man. I am. No. Oh my god, killing him then was definitely necessary. Oh, and give me a wave of more numerous but easier to kill popcorns. I'm curious what my damage output will be here. I've had some where with certain weapons, excuse me, you know, I've gone for runs where I've tried to get the maximum number of kills I can possibly get, and you know, I had various ideas on how to maximize that. And I've gone for runs where I tried to get like the maximum, and I guess this is kind of in the end the same objective. Just sometimes you might choose a build order differently. But I've had some where I tried to maximize the damage per second, because at the end of the game it gives you a breakdown that tells you your total damage with each weapon and your damage per second with each weapon. I think the best I ever saw was with the... whatever the upgraded pentagram is. I can't remember the name of it. But with that weapon, I got something like 30,000 DPS. And part of that comes down to the fact that I didn't get it until late game when enemies were always going to be dense on... Oh, shit. Well, I have the revival, luckily. Stay out in the wide open so that I can at least... I think luckily the Bible does enough damage that other guys can't really approach me. If you notice, if I sit still, no one can really get close to me. But the bosses, they resist knockback and they're tanky enough that they can actually get up in my face, which is where they do damage. There are projectiles, but the vast majority of damage and stuff in this game we need to be concerned about comes from contact. Oh shit. Whoops. That was completely unintentional, and if you can see, in my passive items I no longer have the Tiragisu, which was the item that gave me extra revivals. And I no longer have it because I have used up the revivals that it gave me. And you can sort of abuse that to open up a slot sometimes, but in this case, because I already had more passives than slots, it doesn't help me. And again, we're also almost at 30 minutes, and so it's not going to give us that boost. So let's... Yeah, and it just kills you at minute 30. Okay. So that's actually interesting. My highest, No Future is the name of the upgraded Rune Tracer. And it was my highest DPS at only 6.3. It's interesting that that and Fieragi didn't do more. Curious. I have found, though, when there was fewer upgrades, obviously, Rune Tracer was still desired because it did really good damage, bouncing around and penetrating enemies. And so people would choose that even though it didn't have an upgrade. The upgrade itself, and it was still good late game. The upgrade itself, though, doesn't, it's not mind-blowing. It doesn't really, add as much. I don't know. But here, clearly, it performed just fine. So yeah, we only got all the Shadow Pinion, which I'm guessing that's Conchetta's weapon. The upgraded cat. So both of those weapons upgraded or something that I need to figure out. Level 99 with Conchetta. 31 in the inlaid library, which I will make that a later objective. I'm not as focused on that. And 80 entries in the collection. Okay. So the ones I'm going to focus on the next run are level 99 with Conchetta and trying to get her weapon upgraded. I will select the cat if it comes up in my weapon options, and we'll see if we can upgrade that too. And just so that we have the best chance of success, I'm going to do this. Okay, so I do have to pay extra. 1% area every level. Interesting. So picking AoE weapons is probably even more useful here. I'm going to pick the inlaid library just because it is probably the easiest. And if I do somehow figure it out, we get the additional achievement. I doubt we are going to accidentally end up at 31 minutes, but it's possible. I'll stick with the extra revivals and the boost to revivals. Okay. Ooh. I'll stick with the guns. The guns are very consistently good. And yeah, let's go with axe. Let's double down on this high area build. Not gonna do. So Ebony Wings is the alternate of Pichon, and when you combine them together, I forget what the combined weapon is, but their upgraded version is very powerful for sure. So I'm gonna reroll because I don't want to do this. Let's do. You know what? Let's screw around and do the whip. Might as well. And it's nice to have the sort of close combat effectiveness. I'm really not sure what his drill weapon is doing, but it's doing something. Okay, Stone Mask. It's possible that Stone Mask upgrades the cat. I'm not going to select it here, though, because one, I don't have the cat yet, and two, there's actually one on this map that I can pick up again once my other slots are full. I'll keep that in mind though, because I know Stone Mask doesn't upgrade anything. We have the cat. I've no idea. It might upgrade the cat or it might upgrade the drill. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Pentagram is very nice. Pentagram's interesting, and I like what they did with it because actually Pentagram itself kind of sucks. It'll erase enemies, but it'll also erase gems, and so you don't level up like it's a kill necessarily, and it becomes less harsh about that. So we select that for the upgrade. It becomes less harsh about that later, and it upgrades with the crown item. The crown item basically just means you get an XP bonus, and so the real way, unlike almost every other weapon, the way that you want to do Pentagram is you want to get the crown upgraded, and you want to get later game with a weapon slot open, and then upgrade the Pentagram all at once so that you spend the least amount of time with an ability that's going to delete the experience for you, basically. I'm going to pick spinach because you always pick spinach. Even if you don't go for Fire Wand, it makes sense to pick spinach. And I was actually thinking, late game, once I upgrade the pistols, it might be nice to actually pick the Clock Lancet, which is a weapon that doesn't have an upgrade, but what it does is it shoots out sort of like going around literally clockwise as if it's the hands of a clock, but it'll tick, and every time it shoots, it freezes enemies in a line. And my thought is, here, with the area upgrade I get from this character, it'll freeze even more. And using that item is already one of the best ways to survive past minute 30. Because the enemies that show up to kill you on this map, they can still be frozen. It is not impossible, but you have to really get creative in order to actually kill one. And it very often still doesn't work out. But being able to freeze them is a extremely useful part of that. Because they have no, additional vulnerability or additional invulnerability to that. I am going to keep still an eye out for passive upgrade items that might... What is this green? What is... Oh. Maybe that's the item that upgrades the cat. I don't know. But we'll find out. I still am not sure how the drill works. It looks like I lay down a bunch of them, and then when I walk over them, they activate somehow. It seems kind of technical to use if I'm reading it right. Okay, let's go ahead and get this to fill the slot. Start upgrading my axe. Axe with hugely upgraded area is probably going to be extremely powerful. Laurel is another way to survive a lot late game because you just become invulnerable. It's pretty self-explanatory why that's great. Yeah, let's go with the trapdoor because I always go with the trapdoor. I might have a really weird suboptimal build at the end of this. Okay. More trapdoor. I'll take it. Let's just keep moving our way to the left so that we can get these empty tomes and this, or whatever the hell it is that's dropped on screen. Okay. The only weapon I want to select still is the second pistol, the Ate the Sparrow, I think is the name of it. Yep, that was it. So now I want to get Tiragisu. I want to get... I have Hollow Heart, I have... Tiragisu is the only one I know I need. Let's go ahead and max out Shadow Pinion, even though I don't know how I'm going to upgrade it. We're not really hurting for that right now. So I have one more slot for a passive. And then on top of that, I'll be able to get Empty Tome and Stone Mask. And I don't know if this other map indicator is also a passive item. It'd be really cool if it was. So I think there is a chance, although I don't know. Usually you can work out some sort of mental association why a passive item upgrades a certain weapon. I'm not sure what the association from wings to the drill would be. The Shadow Pinion. But I also can't think of anything else it might be. Other than, of course, Stone Mask is a possibility. Stone Mask or this new thing. But I don't need to select those. So... let's just keep upgrading our items. Ooh. Oh. All right. More spinach is nice. Kato. All right. Skullomaniac upgrades the Spell of Mana, which is not an item I'm going to select, but it's, you know, interesting. That's another interesting combination because the skull passive item is dangerous to have if you're not sort of already on top of things. It makes the game harder. It makes it so that you get more enemies spawning, which makes it so that you get more experience, but they're tougher. So it's basically saying, hey, I'm ready for it, come at me. So, do I want to select the wings, though? Because if I'm wrong... But I don't know what else it would be. I'm already getting Empty Tome, which is, you know, one of the auto pick. I think it's probably the right choice here. Yeah, screw it. We're doing wings again. I've historically almost never picked this one because, especially late game, moving a little more slowly and methodically is the way to go, even if you're trying to get somewhere fast. Because otherwise you end up in the middle of enemy mobs. Okay. Keep upgrading weapons first. Once you get to a certain point, axe is very powerful. Oh, why did I select discard? I've never... At least there's multiple others to grab. What the hell? The only time I can think of wanting to discard is if there's multiple left on the screen and I don't have all my slots filled yet. Like, barrel on through. No real worries about actually dying here. And actually dying might be advantageous because... Okay, that's the magic banger. That's just like a one-time unlock. We'll stick with Empty Town because... Okay, nice. Because we now get the might area and everything else upgrade. I'd like to get the healing passive next. What weapons do I have? Holy. Why am I going slow every once in a while? Like I'm getting slowed by some enemy. I don't actually have a great build for keeping them off of me if they start getting right on top. So let's... try to fix that. I mean, it's like there's a passive effect that's killing me now. Stop taking so much damage. Where is it coming from? This is the easy map. It's like I don't know if there's something the drill is doing that's hurting me. Oh. We got the 5 chest. Let's go. I need to hurry up and get the upgraded whip. So that guy will heal me. Oh no, give me the chicken. Do I have some sort of weird effect on me? I didn't feel like the chicken helped me that much. What the hell? Yeah, healing and revival. Shit. Okay, chicken incoming. Watch the health bar. Yeah, it heals. But I'm like constantly losing too. Not nice. I'm gonna focus on whip. Even though it's probably not my max damage doer, it upgraded has a healing ability, which is really handy. Okay, so now we're in a good place at least. And we're still not to the 10-minute mark either. Okay, whip. I don't know what that was. It was like I was hit with a curse or something, and I just kept losing health and dying. Okay, now whip is fully upgraded, and that'll actually be my first weapon that I get at when I kill this boss. Actually, I'll get the upgraded whip then. Nice. Stick with weapons. I actually should probably have picked cat just so I'd know quicker if I was getting the upgraded cat. Alright, show me that upgraded whip. Let's go. Now I want to get the upgraded the Randomatsu where healing is doubled and damages enemies around me. The Arcana. That's what they're called. Okay, I think I figured out how to... The drill is strangely technical to use. Kill his boss so he can give me something. I don't know if he'll give me a chest or just XP, but I'm in a good place right now, so... Oh? Is that upgraded, Valkyrie Turner? Upgraded Shadow. It looked like a blowtorch or something. I didn't quite read what it did. Oh, it's just like a more... Okay, give me the fucking healing one. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Okay. We're doing it now. The nice thing about the healing one, especially combined with like one of the weapons that helps heal you, especially the whip, the upgraded garlic is not as incredible for this. But the whip, because it actually does decent damage output, and I think doesn't require to get the kill, the final hit, in order to heal you, is you can also just once you have a good combination of items and abilities that work with healing, you can sort of barrel through enemies faster than you are killing them, which means that both your weapons are firing in a dense area of enemies, so they're going to do more damage, and you can survive more of that. You can move through faster, and you get more XP and damage and everything. It's just good all around. Okay, so we're going to have a super area boosted version of the Death Spiral. They're only going to get bigger as I level up and actually get more than just one level of Candelabrador. Which right now seems to be a choice. Actually, I might upgrade wings next when I see it, because again, I can just barrel through enemies even if they're doing slight damage to me, because I'm getting a healing effect and because healing helps me. Those are the only 3 that I can even upgrade now, so might as well. Until I get Stone Mask. I really hope Stone Mask upgrades the cat, because that would be really nice to get both of those right now. And then I'll do Clock Lancet when I get the next upgrade. Or when I upgrade the pistols. Because I have enough skip and reroll that I can almost guarantee I'll get Clock Lancet. Okay, see this guy, this boss? He can't touch shit. Okay, upgrade pistols. But that means... Alright, reroll. 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 Don't want to give me Clock Lancet, I'll skip. Fine. There we go. Hell yeah. Man, look at these fat fucking cats. Because I had the area upgrade, it makes the projectiles bigger. These are some big chonkers. Yeah, now every once in a while you'll see a strip of enemies turn blue because they get hit with the Clock Lancet. Which, because I'm using it now, is a huge area boost. Like, what is my area? Plus 138%. And that's only gonna get bigger. I'm kind of curious what they would even do if this had a, if Clock Lancet had an upgrade. Okay. Stone Mask upgrades the cat. Evolve Gatiamare might turn anything into... Oh, shit. Alright. I now understand what the upgrade means. Holy shit, it's just eyeballs going around fucking shit up. Cat eyes. Nice! Now I want an item that picks up XP for you, because that's the real struggle later in the game. Like, I'm pretty sure the best way to get the most enemies coming at you, technically, is to sit still, because if I run fast to one side, enemies spawning on the other don't have a chance to appear before me. even if enemies from the side I am heading towards show up faster, waves. But, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, but the problem there is, especially a later game when you're doing tons of damage, getting lots of kills, even with a max pickup radius, the sides of the screen fill with so many gems that enemies close up to you stop dropping them because you have the maximum number rendered on screen. I don't know if they've been turning things to gold. I'm not sure. Maybe they're talking about item drops, which would be tough for me to figure out because I pick up item drops very quickly because I have a large pickup radius. So let's see if we can find some item drops that I have not yet taken. Look at the lanterns. Oh. That was already a gold. This will be gold regardless. Let's see if they turn that chicken into gold. They might have. It looked like they picked it up. And I wasn't watching on gold when it happened. I'm going to choose to understand it that way, because that makes sense to me. Man, using the upgraded... using that item is so technical, because very often the upgraded drill, the blowtorch. Man, the area of the Fiyaragi, the sort of beams orbiting around me, pretty impressive at this point. Because the wider the beams are, the more area of enemies they're actually damaging. Pretty powerful. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not getting much damage or healing from my... Not that I need healing, but I'm not getting much damage or healing from the whip. Because people, aren't as frequently getting close enough to me for me to get that out of them. Now I got to plan how to... Here's the boss. With the witches, it's harder to tell because the boss isn't that much bigger than the others. Okay. Now I gotta think, how am I going to get to minute 31? I think I've actually made it to minute 31 before, freezing the Reapers that show up, the Grim Reapers. Alright. I'm also curious now because I think this has actually been able to stream fairly decently at this bit rate. I have it set to 20,000 kilobits per second. Is it kilobits or kilobytes? Anyway, I have it set to 20,000 in OBS. And while obviously it's not going to be the prettiest thing ever, just because there's... it's a noisy screen. There's just a lot. This is sort of almost a stress test for that sort of video encoding. The only thing that would make this significantly harder is more having it in 4K than necessarily having, more detail or more higher graphics or whatever. Oh, here's the 20-minute boss. Pretty routine from this point. Good that I now know that, I think the last major update I did look up what some of the upgrades were. Excuse me. I did look up what some of the upgrades were. Or the routes to, or the sort of item schedule to get them. But for the most part, I like the little bit of puzzling to figure them out the first time. Not that this is a heady game. Okay. So that won't really do us any good because, one, we're not taking that much damage. And we don't have the fire wand or anything. So there's the one that does this with duration and the one that does it with projectile speed. I don't really care for them. Yeah, this. I don't really like them. So gain up to 3 bounces. This will only really affect me for deaths, or the scythe. It's interesting, I understand, but it's interesting that it does it for the pistols and not the Fieragi, which is upgraded. The one thing I don't like about the bouncing in this game is that when projectiles bounce, it's just sort of a naive, they start to go backwards from the direction they were heading, rather than deflecting, changing direction in any sort, I think it would be fun or interesting if they did so in a randomized direction, or like deflecting. So if you shot one up steep and it hit a wall, it would still go up steep, but with the other horizontal direction, if that makes sense. North-northeast to north-northwest. Okay, so we'll select this one. We get bounces out of our death sight. Yeah. Make it even more horrifically lethal. We've actually got now, I think we're on schedule maybe to get 100,000 kills. And obviously this map specifically is much easier for that. Oh, you can... So if I just move and then I stop moving, it'll fire off them all in the same direction. That's nice. I'll remember that as I get later game. I'm really curious how much damage the upgraded drill does. become more apparent that the use is not as technical as I thought. I'm still not sure if it is my favorite, but it's not a bad weapon for sure. Now I almost wish I had the, well, now I do wish I had the Skullomaniac, which, you know, increases the curse level, just so that I'd have more enemies spawning on screen. I gotta go to the restroom, but I can make it. I can make it to the end of this run. It's only 10 minutes. I don't spend a bunch of time dicking around on pause screens. Took him out. I wonder how long... I wonder how many of those you could get on screen in order to... Yeah. If you could get like one really good concentrated beam and one-shot a boss, or even potentially... Probably couldn't one-shot just because they've got like millions of HP. But if you could get a super high amount of damage on the Reapers. I don't know why I chose that. Yeah, now that the enemies aren't people I'm killing as trivially, you can see the blue from the guys who get frozen. And because I have the Tiragisu item still, I know that I have revives left, which, if we look now, my might is plus 85%. Let's go ahead and try to die so I get a... Well, no. If I survive, I get to use those revives to help me get to the 31-minute mark easier. Okay. Holding on to that. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to get a good line, and then... It's nice to see, though, even when I do take damage, because of the whip, my health goes back up pretty quickly. And with certain waves, I take less. Like, I was taking more with the skulls than I am now with the Medusas when I run through them. Although these Medusas are pretty tough as well. We'll see how many achievements I get from this one. But I definitely got 2 upgraded weapons. Level 99 with Conchetta. We're now at level 104. And the music banger. Or the magical banger. I think that was an achievement. Looks like I have enough knockback to not have to worry about that. Right, this is the 3. Is it the 5? Yeah, it's the 5. Nice. All gold. So we're at 82.89. Let's see how much that gave us. It says 877 there, but then also buffed by all of the actual coin bags. 82.89. Oh yeah, that was almost 1,300 gold. I think also with the area benefit, I'm actually wondering how the area benefit would be if I got one of the explosive items, like either No Future or the Cherry Bomb. These guys are going to start giving us red gems, which is real nice. All right. If nothing else, it damages a lot of enemies in a large area, and even if it's doing a small amount of damage per enemy and not like knocking them out, that's big DPS that you know, they all add together over time. It's funny, I hear those, the sort of alarm sounding thing, which is the sort of suicide bomber women coming at you. And that cue is the only reason I know that they're on their way. Man. Let's hope I have enough to get to 31 minutes. No sense in really healing, because even if I come into it with, you know, a single tick of health, it doesn't matter because the Reaper one-shots you when he does damage to you anyway. Right. No. Okay, but I did freeze him, so let's revive. What? No! Like I can make it 10 seconds and that's... Have another revival. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Come on, come on. Another revive? No. Okay, 3044 is fine. I'm not too stressed about the achievement getting to 31 minutes right now. Might get that in, tomorrow or whenever I play next. I don't know if I'll do that on stream or not. Man, look how big those scythes are. Makes that pixel art real grainy. But that's part of the charm of this game. Okay, let's see what our DPS was. So yeah, it's interesting that, relatively it's so much lower. I mean, okay, yeah, I think it unlocks a randomazzo. All right, so we got all, I think we only have the one achievement left. Okay, find the magic banger. Level 9 with Conchetta, and that's a arcana that it unlocks. Drive 15 minutes with her. Yep. 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 All right. That was a pretty successful run. 6 achievements out of the 7 that we had left. But yeah, you see on the damage there, when I first started, when you first start playing, you'll get, 6 or 7k DPS in a run. And it's like, oh yeah, that was really good. I don't actually know now. If you were to start with no unlocks or anything from a completely bare run, what that would look like. But I know that I definitely got to a point where it's like, oh, 12k DPS, yeah, that's good. 15, good. And like I said, the best I ever got was 30 something, but that was with the upgraded pentagram. And part of the thing with the damage with an upgraded weapon like the pentagram is the more damage it does, it takes away the opportunity for your other weapons to do more damage. And so you see here, Bloody Tear, the upgraded whip, only did 3.3k damage per second. But that's because, first of all, its primary benefit for me was the healing that it did provide when it did damage. And also later on, most enemies wouldn't get close enough to me, either because I was killing everyone before they were close enough, or because the screen was crowded enough that, only a certain amount of the enemies I'm engaging can fit physically within the attack range. So, interestingly, the upgraded whip didn't do a whole lot of damage. Or, upgraded Shadow Pinion, the Valkyrie Turner, didn't do a huge amount of damage. I don't know if that's intended or if I just was playing with it poorly. You could technically use it for more focused attacks. And I wasn't always consciously trying to get it to do a lot. All right. What remains is 30 in the Unlight Library, and that unlocks an Arcana. I think we upgraded another slot of Banish. I don't use Banish that much, but I still have way more money than I did when I started. I'm at, 20,000 more. So I'll be back in a second. I might do another run. I think some guy just peeled out his motorcycle on my road. I heard some revving and tires squealing, and then I saw a guy coming down, but so it goes. At least it's not all the time. Okay, I could do a run on hurry. And then I probably need to do some laundry and I'm losing my mind here. Laundry and a bit of a workout. I did a mountain bike race yesterday and went real well, but I am tired. Went to the grocery store hungry, picked up, bunch of snacks. I was definitely shopping with my stomach there. I should have eaten something before I went. So yeah, might play one more run, take care of some stuff that I need here, and play some other games later. Maybe I'll stream, maybe I won't. I'll figure it out. I'm kind of curious what her guitar means. So, of the enemies they've added, or the players they've added, there's these first few that, get a fairly low capped benefit every few levels. Like this guy, 10% more damage every 10 levels, up to 50%, which is decent, but nothing special. But he's also the first character you have unlocked. And then 10% more experience. That's decent. Unfortunately for her, though, since she doesn't have other benefits that she gets level per level, the benefit once you're at level 100 or whatever, at the end, the benefit of leveling up further is not as much. Because again, 10% more experience every 5 levels, max 30%. So after level 15, she doesn't get any better as a character. Similar for this. Projectiles get 10% faster. So Gennaro is also interesting because when you first start off, I immediately was not a huge fan of the knife, but the extra projectile was really handy, especially before you unlock some of the power-ups, like always having extra projectiles. And then I think Porta is the first slightly different character. So he just has one permanent boost. And also the starting benefit. And I think the starting benefit is basically because if you start with the lightning and nothing else, it's very hard to survive because it's not like it's targeting specific enemies, and at a low level, it's not going to kill enough guys to really give you much of a chance. It would just be really underpowered, ultimately. Llama is really interesting. He's probably the hardest character. I really enjoy him. One, the axe is a really good weapon, especially early. Axe is great, but Curse is interesting because that's it makes the enemies show up in waves more and stronger, and it's basically turning on hard mode. The one benefit for you being, well, the two benefits being obviously the bragging rights if you were able to finish it, and more enemies is more opportunities for XP. So actually, I spent a while and was eventually able to get a run with him. We look back at the power up menu. With the maximum curse level, with Llama, and with the skull item. And so technically all those three combined together is the hardest the game can get. And I think I did it on Green Acres, which is enemies have extra HP. And it was hard as shit. That said, now, several updates later, quite a few updates later, they have continued to buff and change the mid game. That might be harder than I'd be able to do. But I got it done at the time, and I don't really feel compelled to do it again. So Poe again is a bit of a different, interesting character. Plus 25% pickup radius and minus 30 max health. And that's especially interesting starting off with Garlic. He's really fun to play with, because especially when you have full attract orb, you can essentially almost cover the entire screen with your pickup radius. So Clarici, what is it? So basically constant health recovery, temporary area bonus. Not really that great, in my opinion. Because if you need to get like the absolute max healing you possibly can, your build is probably on the edge of viability anyway. You know, a better way to keep your health up is to kill more enemies. Minus 40% duration and speed, minus 40% move speed. Yeah, Demario is interesting. He can be fun to play with. He can end up double stacking Bibles pretty early, because you'll fire off the Bible again before the one you were using, before the last fire times out, if you get the right upgrades. Another thing, I think Poe is the best for runs. I forget what people, basically stand still. Runs where you don't move. It's sort of I don't know if those are even possible anymore with the current game. But basically you pick your items and pick your weapons such that you don't have to move. And so basically you just tell yourself from the beginning, I'm going to let everyone come at me. And I'm going to pick everything. You can actually, or at least you could at some point, at some updates, make it to the 30-minute mark that way. And the pickup radius is really nice because, one moment. It just means that you pick up more gems from enemies you kill that might not be like right under you, and that's crucial. The Garlic, which is his starting weapon, is also crucial because it increases knockback, which means that sometimes enemies die farther away, but the knockback is really crucial because some of the stronger enemies you really need to not let them just get on top of you and stay there. Croce is really interesting. As you get farther down, the enemies get, into more interesting categories. Extra revivals. But, you can also get those through the power-up menu and through items. And through now Arcanas. So Christine is interesting. She starts off with the pentagram. which makes it really hard to play as her because, periodically it's just erasing all of the items in XP. Like I said earlier, if you actually want to play the pentagram to get the upgraded version, you want to select the weapon later in the game. So if you start off with it at the start of your run, it's going to just be a huge pain in the ass until you get it to a higher level. So basically, working around it in the early game is what you have to do. Pugnala starts off with both of the pistols, which is really nice. And she's the first of these characters that have an uncapped, you get, X benefit per level. And it's usually pretty slight, but the thing is, near the end game, when you can have, you can be level 120, you can be level 140. I forget the highest level I've seen. I think I've gone over a 150 before. I know I've gone over 140. But those might benefits here, which is, your weapon damage, basically, huge. Similar Giovanna, 1% projectile speed. You saw at the end of the run with her, stuff was just zipping across the screen. Papia is interesting, 1% duration. And so then with her specifically, you want to pick weapons that benefit from having a longer duration. And that can make them really powerful. Same with this, more weapons benefit from projectile speed, I think. Well, those are both pretty useful. Yeah. Interestingly, later game, I think it's the Song of Mana. I might have called it Spell of Mana earlier. The Song of Mana, her weapon in the upgraded version is really more of a support. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it slows enemies. Which means you can, fight enemies in denser mobs more easily. And it especially helps fighting bosses, because sometimes bosses, when they rush you or get really up in your business, it's like, oh, do I run into the crowd of normal enemies and take damage from them, to get away from the boss, or what do I do? Slowing, obviously, think of a tower defense. Slowing enemies is useful. 1% area per level. I really like that. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan right now of the drill, the Shadow Pinion, but useful. And then there's all these guys down here: Mortaccio, Cavallo, Ramba, and Osol Mayo. They have this, get more projectiles every 20 levels. And so you start off with the normal amount of projectiles, and then at 20 you get an extra. At 40 you get an extra. And at 60 you get an extra. And so, that's really handy to have, more shots per shot or whatever. But they all have different weapon types. So the wheel here, the wagon wheel kind of thing, it just sort of like I think it's like a mine cart. I don't know. It's a weapon that sort of, bounces only on the horizontal axis, which, on a full normal wide open widescreen map is not going to bounce around as much. I'm not crazy about Ramba. She's definitely more useful and powerful in the tower. These guys are great. So their projectiles bounce off of enemies. And that can be really fun sometimes if you run directly into the middle of a mob, because they'll just be bouncing back and forth and hitting people a ton of times. And for really weak early game enemies, that just means they're killing a bunch of people and you thin out a mob really quickly. And at higher levels, it just means that you get a lot of DPS per shot. The difference being the bone here is just a projectile that bounces and does damage. And this, the cherry bomb, is similar but has a chance to explode. And I think it has lower base damage. They're both pretty fun. For a while, I think Mortaccio was, especially before Cavallo showed up, and he was the only one that had this benefit for a while. The weapons bouncing around, or the extra projectiles every level. I'm not entirely sure what the flowers do. It's like as you run around as the dog, you're like farting out flowers behind you. And I know it has something to do with healing you as well. He's not a bad character. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's good. And then this guy, which is like a special unlock, starts off with the upgraded version of the magic wand. He doesn't have any passive benefit per level. Like, you see, there's nothing else he gets every time he levels up. And so I'm not really a huge fan of him. But it's fun, and I'm glad I have him and have done a run with him. But I do think the best are these four that have the per level 1% something benefit. So I think Pugnala is probably my favorite if I have to pick one. Oh, this is how I change the music. Oh, what's the Forsaken? Interesting. I'll try that. So you can see on the left side also there's a difference between the enemy, the different levels. So there's the first four base stages, which have slight differences between them. Oh. Change that to slight differences between them. And there's also like different additional passive items. So like on the inlay library, there's the empty tome and the stone mask that you can find. Mad Forest has a couple. I don't remember all. I think it has a bunch, actually. Dairy Plant definitely has a bunch. And the tower has the Spellbinder and the Bracer. Ilmolis is interesting. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of it is. Yeah, you see enemies don't move. Health plus 60%. It's just a bunch of plants. It's almost like it's fun for testing your weapons out. And also the time limit here is only 15 minutes. So that's curious, but cool and fun. And I think, yeah, the gold bonus isn't even that high here. Green Acres was the original sort of challenge, and I think at the very start of the game, this was what the map was like. It's a wide open map, and you see random enemy waves from normal stages. Bone Zone is a new challenge. No item drops, and so you won't get health, you won't get, extra coin drops, and yeah, the enemies grow stronger over time. So it's probably the toughest stage right now. That with Llama and Full Skull might not be doable. It might be. People figured out how to kill the Reapers on some maps, so. Okay. I think I'll do let's do a Bone Zone. And we'll put it on Hurry, which just makes time elapse faster. So what was this new one? Boogle of Illusion. Overall area continues. Area changes. Interesting. I don't think I want it. But interesting. I'll stick with this one, the benefit with revivals. Alright. Keep upgrading that. Maybe I'll go for pigeons this time. Birds are also really nice because they don't require a specific passive item to upgrade. You can select passive items that you might want that you don't really care about the associated weapons for. I mean, you always can, but it doesn't make it a suboptimal build here. Okay, let's go with axe. Alright, yeah, pick the upgrade item. And there's no extra items sitting on screen here. Yeah, you only get coins from the torches. There's a lot of torches, but they're only ever going to drop coins. And so I guess technically, I think there's other benefits. Let me get this for the healing. Alright. Looks like that sort of orange scaly man is buffed of some sort. We'll just upgrade what we've got now. Especially since I have the associated upgrade passive. No, I'm definitely gonna want to get. Whew, that was risky. I wanted to see if the whip would, because essentially like every bit of the whip's hitbox would have an enemy on it. But because these guys aren't going down just to a single hit, I think axe upgraded would probably be. Axe is just reliably always very good. High damage, high area. It's really similar to the upgraded what am I thinking? Axe is really similar to the upgraded cross, but the cross upgrades on the clover item, which is good and useful, but it's not a direct combat benefit, whereas the candelabrador means that everything you're using in combat is more effective, has more area. So it's like a less purely DPS oriented. Okay, I think I'm going to take my first death, but luckily I have both Tirigisu and the added benefit of +3 revivals from the Arcana I chose. Man, I don't want to use it this quickly. I guess we're almost to the 8 minute. Well, we are at the 8 minute. He's not doing a whole lot of damage to these guys right now. I need some spinach. Yeah. Let's get that passive boost. Okay, so it looks like it uses those other... Let's just take these 2 deaths right now. One more. Okay. It was risky to use to spend them all right there, but the passive benefits to might should help. Maybe that was a mistake. I need healing, but of course, there's no item drops here. Okay. Do I have both levels of... Oh, that was the passive revive that I get just from the power-up shop. Oh, this is rough. Okay, chest. Fuck you. I don't know what to do about those fucking green ghost reapers or whatever. They just have to ruin your day, and I think you just have to run away from them, honestly. Fuck off, dude. Okay. Give me something good. Alright. What is it? Fire zone. Yeah, that'll help. But like now, I'm so at risk that it's hard to gather the experience from the enemies I do kill. Which means I end up, over time, doing less damage and killing less enemies. And it really... I'm just sort of behind the curve at the moment. And it's because, you know, enemies, as I said, enemies get stronger over time on this map. Okay, passing through more enemies is useful because they're so mobbed up. I think I have 2 more revivals right now, and I can get another from the Tiramisu. Hopefully, the benefits from dying... Oh shit, I don't have the extra. Oh well. Yeah, that was pretty pathetic. Oh well. I think I might call that here. Maybe I will get on and play some more later. But I think this was a successful test, among other things, of encoding. I'll scrub through the VOD quickly to see, you know, if it was having any issues or if it looked all right. Because it definitely got noisy at parts, visually. Yeah. Neat. All right. Yeah, like I said, maybe I'll stream some later. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Later.